let's talk about some specific customers and how they've used this enhancement in their environment. So this particular customer in the chemical space had the need to address country-specific labeling associated with their products that they make and ship across the world. For those of you in that industry, hopefully you're following me here, but there are requirements in this industry which determines how the label needs to look based on where the product is made and where it's shipped to. And there's legal requirements and industry requirements in terms of the language support for health and safety information, for warnings and things like that, along with the pictograms that need to go along with that. So depending on where their manufacturing facility was, they had to label a product that's made in multiple facilities differently based on that location. And then depending on where they shipped that product to, it also had to be labeled perhaps differently than where it was actually manufactured. So some companies' import rules on chemicals dictate that their languages need to be shown and displayed on the label versus other languages. And so that dynamic nature of manufacture and ship made it very, very complex on a central global scale how to control templates at each of these facilities. So by adding the universal connector, they were able to address this and primarily with the format substitution rule. And what this allowed them to do is, again, sending the flat file as they always have, determine based on where the product was made, which languages needed to show up, and which specific templates needed to be used for that particular product at that particular time. So what a format substitution does is it references a generic label format or a specific one, depending on your particular needs, where I may make a simple request for a product label. And then based on the product ID, based on the customer ID, ship to location, manufacturing location, or the product itself, we need to dictate what shows up on that template in terms of customer logos, product logos, pictograms, or specific layout in terms of what shows up on that particular template based on that particular product. So without having to code all that logic in the back end, they were able to build that logic within the web-based UI of the universal connector and address each one of those specific labeling needs on a product-by-product basis, manufacturing site by manufacturing site, and then ship to location, and generate the appropriate label for the particular product on the fly without making any changes to the source application.